Now, I bet we're all a little guilty of taking things for granted. When was the last time you ever thought about breathing? I mean, something we do involuntarily every day, but when's the last time you've ever paid much attention to the breath and what effect it has on your psyche? It's been a while probably, huh? I know for me, being a kid growing up with asthma, I've always been very conscious about breathing. To this day, I hate the sense of anything kind of constricting me or tight around my neck. So I do have an appreciation for breath. Now, obviously, in a sports lifestyle and kind of a sports mentality, breathing kind of goes hand in hand with performance in what you're doing. And I think in rowing specifically, maybe it takes it a few levels more because the breathing then coincides with the rhythmic pattern of which you're doing the rowing stroke, stroke after stroke, and there's a certain breathing rhythm, and when it's working together, it becomes effortless. And in rowing, your quads are compressed up against your chest, so there is a lot of compression there, and sometimes it is hard to kind of fill the lungs and take a deep breath to perform. But athletics aside, recently, I've been thinking a lot about breath in the last few weeks, and then there's been a few things that have kind of taken me down that road. But one thing for myself is about 6 months ago, I started my journey on mindfulness and meditation. And for someone that's never done meditation, I always just kind of didn't like the bells and whistles. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go down that road, the chanting and all that. And so I was always intimidated, basically, by the thought of kind of sitting in silence and getting hocus pocusy on what I could do for my mind. But on this journey, I've decided to let that guard go down, and I came across something called Headspace. Headspace is a free app you can get for your phone, and it's so simplistic in nature that it breaks down the whole mysteries behind meditation into some easy to follow guided practices, and takes away all the bells and whistles and gives you the basics, and really when it comes down to it, meditation is nothing more than just connecting yourself to your breathing. And really, it's just understanding the breath and how it impacts your body, how it can impact your day-to-day stress, at work, your dealings with your friends, your family, your loved ones, whatever. And it's been a kind of an eye-opening thing on how that has really worked, and learning the techniques on which to focus breathing, and then taking it through Headspace. And Andy Puddicombe is the creator of Headspace. Again, an amazing story. I really recommend just Google Headspace, Andy Puddicombe. He has a great TED Talk video out there where he's juggling and talking about meditation. It's just a great analogy. That aside, I just wanted to give a little gratitude out to Andy and what they've done at Headspace for really opening my eyes. But, the power of the breath, getting back to what I was talking about, breathing. It just so happened that I came into finding about this guy named Wim Hof this week. And I've heard of him in the past a little bit. I started to kind of go down this road. Wim Hof is a Dutch, the Iceman, a Dutch guy who's really kind of revolutionized breathing and what it does to the human body and the human psyche. I think he holds over 20 world records on, submerging himself in the Arctic and swimming, distances. And he's just been able, through the deep breathing that he does, the Wim Hof method, he's able to basically lower his metabolic rate, change his whole endocrine system, his autonomic nervous system, his parasympathetic nervous system. It's mind-boggling what he's done. I've only touched the surface on it, but in a week of kind of doing some of the Wim Hof method, it has shown me some really interesting things. And his whole premise is taking some deep breaths, followed by, a complete exhalation, and then holding your breath for as long as you can, and then kind of refilling the whole diaphragm, and then holding your breath again. And it's kind of this series of movements, with the diaphragm. But it is amazing. But again, that coinciding with the Headspace journey that I've been on. And then even last night, I was, it was my daughter's dance recital, where they do their big performance. My wife's a dance mom, so it's been a whole year of getting ready for this, and it's a big show. And last night I actually got to sit front row, stage center, and it was amazing. I've never been that close to the stage, but what really amazed me is during some of the more kind of intimate numbers, like the contemporary numbers, a few of the solos, I actually heard the dancers breathing on stage, and it just blew my mind. I just, I never really put two and two together. But again, the power of breath, to hear these dancers breathing through the movements, it just added this passion and this kind of, I was just focused on what they were doing. It just brought me in, and breath is life. And they brought life to dance last night, and it was epic. It was amazing. These girls are 15, 16 years old, 17 years old. And it just never dawned on me, something as simplistic as that. And then I could all night, I kept thinking about breath, this whole journey of breathing that I've been on. And it kind of culminated this week with the Wim Hof method, and then all of a sudden, experiencing this front row at the recital. And it's breath connects us to everything. So the athletes out there, obviously, you breathe, you add an action of sport to what you're doing, it becomes seamless. It becomes, a unified force moving in a direction. You breathe as a dancer, and the breath gives you life, and it gives life to the movement. And dance is all about these artistic movements and expressions, and all of a sudden you're breathing through it, and it becomes alive. The dancers were alive on stage last night, expressing themselves. And then, most importantly, for many of us out there, breath is something that can connect us day to day, moment to moment in life, to make us present. And I think that's what all my breath ramblings today hopes that it gets to you, is that, take a moment out during the day, 2, 3, 4 moments out during the day, and just take some deep breaths. It is absolutely amazing how it can trigger the mind and just wash over a kind of a sense of ease and relaxation. I can't stress enough. I think everybody would be better off if they just spent a little bit of time appreciating what the power of breath could do for you. And it doesn't mean you have to get on a yoga mat. It doesn't mean you have to go chant some things. All I'm asking is, sit in your office chair. You don't have to close your eyes. Just take some deep breaths. Exhale out, Just take the energy in. Exhale it out. Good energy. Take in the bad energy. Exhale out. Throw the bad energy out. Replace it with good. Breath is power. Breath is life. We all have it. We all just want to get through the day-to-day to be the best possible versions of ourselves. And I think focusing on breathing is another tool that we can all put in our toolbox to get us there. Thanks so much for listening, and take a deep breath. You won't regret it. Thanks.